It's not good to run out of stuff. I just talked to Walgreens yesterday. This morning, I want to remind us of something. I want you to listen to me close. I think this is going to be brief. I'm serious, comparatively. Yahweh put your destiny in your hands. I love that about Him. And I got to tell you, my worst moments as a follower of Yahshua have been better than my best moments when I lived in the world. And when I was in the world, even the good that I thought was good seemed to always turn out bad. But now, because of God's grace and His favor, the bad in my life somehow turns out to be good. And that's how it's supposed to be. Yahweh is in the process of developing a people, not trying to save the whole world, but to call out a people for His name's sake, to help Him rule and reign on the earth. And there's a word that I always appreciate, that a lot of people that don't do this at church, they don't believe in it in church. As a matter of fact, they just want you to come. And of course they have their agenda probably, but to get close to people and to allow people to, you become vulnerable to somebody. I mean, you don't have to tell them if you got on underwear or not. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. You know, that's not a secret. That's just nobody's business. But to be able to understand that what we're building takes character, and to have character, there has to be some kind of complicity to relationship at some level. It don't have to be talk on the phone every day. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing? Hey, I'm good. If that's your thing, fine. But there has to be a common desire. I have friends, one of them here today, Lynn Shabley, great friend of mine. And what we have in common is golf. So it was that what we had in common that gave us the opportunity to develop a friendship. One of the finest men I've ever met. I'm just saying in front of you. I believe this. If I need anything, I could call Lynn, and Lynn would do it. If he'd answer the phone, maybe. That's Johnny. So there's that thing that has to be developed. We were talking, Danette and I were talking recently about people, people come to church. There's things that I do. There's some people I don't let come to church. There's some people I don't want to come to church because I don't want it to be a distraction to what God's doing. But there's other people who other churches, they don't really know who's coming and who ain't. I mean, I really don't know, but at least think I know people. The ability and power to choose Yahweh's way over our way. The ability and power to choose true values, scriptural values, God's ways from the false. To be able to have the power to choose and the willingness to choose right from wrong, and the will, the desire to do what's right, even against ourself, our fleshly desires, and our emotions or feelings. Let me tell you what that is, sir. That is character. Wasn't we singing, we want to be like you today or something? I want to be like him, I want to be like him. That is character. You can have a morality, but some of the most moral people in the world that hold the moral standard with their armies and things do immoral things. They kill a lot of people in the name of morality and things like that. Good and evil come from the same tree. I'm not talking about just being a good guy. I'm talking about having the ability to choose God's way over your way, and that's the cross that we have to bear daily. When I take my way and I choose God's way over my way, that right there is how you take up your cross So Yahweh gave us the ability to choose. He said, choose you this day. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this morning about why our choices matter. Because we make choices every single day of our life. There are some people that made a choice not to be here today. I want to tell you something. That ain't good. Because they don't think it's important. They don't understand what God's trying to do and what it takes. And we have become so isolated in our culture that we don't think we need anybody else. I mean, who has company anymore? There's this comedian, man, he makes me laugh. He's talking about when he was young, his mama had this cake, and he wasn't allowed to touch it because that was for company. And when somebody come knocking on the door, you know, oh, it's company. They all run to the door. Come in, come in. And we have coffee and cake. Charlotte will tell you right now, Christmas time when I was a kid, it was like people came and ate, and we'd eat, and they come and we'd eat with them. We come and we eat. We'd eat 20 times. Then we'd get in our car and we go to other people's houses and eat at their house. True or not, Charlotte? But he's talking about now, in this society, when the doorbell rings, the daddy says, shh, don't move. Don't move. Get down. We don't want nobody coming out. And there sure ain't no cake sitting around waiting this guy makes me laugh. He's got an Italian name. I don't know his name, but he's funny. If he's a dirty comedian, I apologize. To all the world. We make these choices. But the problem is the choices that we make in our lives every day matter greatly because your choice affects your destiny. Our choices, the decisions we make, can either move us closer or further away from our destiny. And I want to tell you your number one destiny. It is to become, we have been predestined to be conformed into the image of Christ. Anything you do contrary to that ain't going to work too good for you because that's what you were made to do. It's like your car was made to run on gas. I knew people that would pour sugar in people's gas tanks. You know why? It was a sweet gesture, but it don't run off of that. I was with a guy one time. If I called his name, y'all would know him. We were going fishing out at Crystal River. We put the boat in. We filled the gas tank up. It was an 80-gallon gas tank. Ding, ding. Gas wasn't cheap. Ding, ding, ding. And the thing about boat gas tanks, they don't have that idiot hole that prevents you from putting a diesel nozzle in there. Somebody called me one time, hey, this thing don't work. I said, what color is it? They're green. Good. Hang it up and get the black one. So we get out there in the middle of Crystal River, right at Twin Rivers. Stop. Come to find out, he put 80 gallons of diesel in that boat. Cheryl, what would Danny do? Oh, that's what I'm saying. It ain't made to work. And people want to know, why my life is this I'm doing. We got money, we got this, we got that, but in my life I'm not happy. Because you weren't created for that. You were created, the Bible says, for His pleasure. Everything was created for His pleasure. And He's worthy, the Bible says. So we get further and further. We make choices against the proper path and the way that you were created. It will move you further, closer to that or further away from your destiny. I think that Yahweh gave us a wonderful gift. He's given us free will, freedom to choose. There's power in the choice that Johnny makes every day. And you should say that about your own life. We all make choices every day and what we're going to do with our minds, what we're going to let our minds think about, what we're going to spend our money on. Pardon me. What we're going to spend our time on, many other things concerning life. Joshua chapter 24, verse 15, when I read it, you're going to know it. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. Joshua was the prototype, so to speak, and the similitude and metaphor of Yahshua. I tell people, if you want to call Jesus Joshua, that's accurate. There just wasn't a Y. But if you call him Jesus, that's not accurate. Joshua means something. Jesus means nothing. The name doesn't. Moses, the man of God, another prototype of Yahshua in Deuteronomy 3:19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. And this is what he hints to us and tells us the answer. Now, choose life so that you and your children may live. I'm saying to us, let's choose life. So that not only can we live, but I'm going to tell you, you can say what you want, but the world is after your babies. They're after your kids. We have to be very careful not to let the world swallow our children up. You got to talk to them. You got to teach them at home. You got to pray with them. If you don't, somebody will influence your children if you don't. Somebody else will. And they got all the money and all the press and everything they need. The choices that we make matter because these choices are going to have a significant impact on your life. Scripture is full of information that encourages us to make wise choices. The truth of the matter is the choices that we make in our lives not only affect us, but everybody around us and everything around us. So watch this. If you don't choose and serve God, if you do it, that you'll not only save your life, you'll save your children. I said you'll save your children. We have a generation now, kids don't even go, they don't want to go to church because their parents really don't want to go to church. The example is there. And so, and we can get into a, discussion about that. I just think that even when I was a kid, I understood there was something about being in the house of God that was important. Even if they were teaching me wrong. And what it did, it developed a habit in me as a kid. So I was talking to Lindsay Thompson this morning, and we're talking about going to the Songwriters Conference up there with them. They're having this week. And so I said, we're going to come home on Saturday. And she said, why not? That's where our set is on Saturday. And we're going to have an after party after that. And I said, look, some of us still go to church. I ain't going to tell you what she called me. The people that are going to be affected most are those closest to us, like our families and our friends. And the choices and decisions we make shape our lives in one way or another. Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way that seems right to men and to us, but guess what? You know where it leads to? Destruction. Well, this looks okay with me. Destruction. It's important not to be hasty and quick when making important decisions. You better have a word from God. We need to take time and make sure that our choices aren't just going to give us a temporary satisfaction when we're trying to run from problems or things like that. Choices. I want to make choices that can help me fulfill Yahweh's plan and Yahweh's purpose for me, my destiny, and my well done. That's the life I'm trying to live. And I don't just live it for me, but I live it for my family, and I live it for the ecclesia, and hopefully other people. A lot of people, I think, have a big misunderstanding about Yahweh and God. We kind of know Him in our own definition. You ever seen that movie, that Ricky Bobby show? I like Baby Jesus. Little baby Jesus, I pray and ask you for this, baby, so they each like their own little version. He like the baby Jesus, this one like the grown Jesus, this one like, and that's kind of what we've developed. People know that God is the one who created them. A lot of them believe that now still. And that their existence was planned by God, and they say this, do you know Jesus Christ is your personal Savior? I just want to say that He has a plan for your life. I've heard that 1,000,000 times. But they have the wrong idea that every detail of life is pre-planned. They mistake foreknowledge for predestination. They think that God's already planned the path and you're going to get there no matter what. But you know what? That's not, because God didn't do it that way. He could have, but He gave us a choice. Some people believe there is no choice. They don't think they have a choice. Like Calvinism. Calvinism, I don't want to get into that. I mean, I'm very well versed on Calvinism. I don't talk about it because a lot of people are Calvinistic and they don't even know it. These Civil War generals, I've told you before, they believed that their destiny was pre-planned, and it made them appear as heroes and men of courage, where in the middle of Gettysburg battlefield, generals would be sitting right in the middle on their horse like this and not even being afraid. They thought they had this great courage and they were heroes. They were Calvinists. They believed if it was God's will for them to die, they would die, and if it wasn't, there ain't nothing that can happen to you. They believed if they were hiding behind a tree, if it was God's will to die, a bullet would go around the tree and hit them in the head. And I know a lot of people that think that, well, que sera, sera. That's not in the Bible. Actually, the Bible teaches the exact opposite. Yeah, Johnny, God has a plan for you, and He has a purpose for your life, but guess what, bug boy? It ain't going to happen automatic. My dad told me, Joel's talking about 13, he was joking and said, when I was 13, he left home when he was 13. And I said, well, I had to make a living. My dad said, son, you want a car, turn 16? Yeah. Oh, well, go get one. It's a plan, a purpose, but it ain't going to be automatic. It ain't because your granddaddy was a Christian and a good old boy. It ain't because your mama did anything. This is now big boy stuff and big girl stuff. You have to make the choice yourself. And I tell people, I ain't left nobody decide my eternal destiny. Not even me. And I'm the worst one. You can miss God's plan. A lot of you had it, but you let it slip away like those 5 virgins. You lost it. It's gone. But you had it. And if you'll stop and think, you'll remember that time when you loved God with all that you had and you served Him with fervor. But then you let life get you. And I want to tell you, it's hard not to let life get you. It's hard, man. It's hard. I hate to see people do it by themselves. And I hate to see that we can't let each other help each other because it ain't easy. You can miss it. I'm going to tell you why. Because God ain't going to force you to enjoy the plan He has for you. When I was a kid, I was forced to eat. And if I didn't eat those English peas, and my dad said, well, you can go outside and play now if you want to, but you get nothing else to eat till you eat that peas on that plate right there. I come in the house, those peas would be sitting on my plate right there. And I'd wait so long, they would be like capers, which is a rock-hard English pea. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? I was like, y'all got any bagels up in here? Yeah. My dad made me. He made me. God don't want to make you do nothing. He could, though. He gives us a choice. You can either accept or reject. He gives you the choice to obey or disobey. And that's what you do every day. When you decide not to come to this church, that's what you're doing. When you decide not to tithe, that's what you're doing. When you decide not to forgive somebody, that's what you're doing. We're choosing to go down a path that leads to destruction. He didn't just make stuff up. He knows He created this. He knows what it takes to live a joyous, happy life. He gives us the choice to follow or ignore the purpose for which you were created. You don't want to live for what God created you for? Have at it. but it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be dysfunctional. It's going to be full of pain and strife. It's going to be all of those things. And I'm not trying to talk you out of it. God said repeatedly, I will not force you to do my will. When Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and they went into the desert after 400 years of slavery, this is what he told them about a land of milk and honey. He said, there's a land of great bountiful blessing, and that God had promised you this. It would be so different from their years of slavery. You can come out of that and into this land of promise. But before they got there, God, through Moses, said to the people of God, supposedly, the same things He's saying to you and me today. And I'm going to make it personal. He's saying this to you today. You can walk out of here, but I'm going to tell you, you're here today because God's saying something to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Well, I'm visiting. Well, guess what? Tough. And this is what he said, chapter 30, verse 15 and 16 to Deuteronomy. Today, I'm giving you a choice. You can choose life and success, or you can choose death and disaster. I am commanding you to be loyal to Yahweh, to live the way He has told you, and to obey His laws and teachings. You're about to cross over the Jordan River and take the land that He is giving you. Isn't that funny? We got to take the land that He is giving us. We want to sit around all day and just bless me, showers of blessing. If you obey Him, you will live and become successful and powerful. Today, what's Yahweh doing? Giving them a choice, just like everybody. He wants us to enjoy the bounty of the promised land, but He didn't make them accept it. He didn't just drag their butts across the desert. Matter of fact, many of them, they just died out there, having not received the promise. Just like many here in America and in this church and in the city and our families, our friends, they're just going to be scattered. He said the choice is up to you. When I hear people, why didn't God do that? Why didn't you do what God said? Wait a minute, this is your choice. Well, it didn't work out for me. Let me tell you what, it takes a while for things to work. You don't just jump in the thing and everything's working. I mean, you don't even do that when you're born. This is the picture of salvation. It's a picture of coming out of the slavery of sin into the freedom of Christ. But guess what? We have such a Stockholm Syndrome mentality. We want to go back to the slavery of sin where you don't have a choice anymore. You don't have a choice in sin, buddy. Sin will take you further than you ever want to go, keep you longer than you ever want to stay, and cost you more than you ever want to pay. Sin don't give you a choice. Your flesh just thinks it's your choice. No. In order to enjoy that life in the promised land, there was one thing that the Israelites had to do. They had to choose to obey God. You know, it's not good to make somebody love you. If you don't love me, I'm going to be mean to you. Well, I don't want to love you then. I want people to want to love me. I want them to choose to love me. Otherwise, you see what I'm saying? You have to choose if you're going to accept God's way and the good things He planned for you. Let me tell you what God could have made you. A puppet. Puppets are so cute. But you know, you get them in children's church, Bubba tell you, some kids don't think puppets are cute, do they, Jonathan? Some kids are like, mama. That thing talking to you. God could have done that. Or guess what He could have done? I've wanted to do this, okay? God, this ain't a God thing. This is a Johnny thing. Shot collar. I've wanted to put a shot collar on people. Oh, my God. Nah. You know what? They would just do it anyhow. He didn't put no shot collar on us. Why? He gives us the ability to choose. He put His Spirit word in us. He gave us apostles and prophets, and He gave us brothers and sisters and family members and an ecclesia, an ability to choose. And if you choose poorly, that choice will be your greatest curse. And you have control over it. Let me tell you what. I read a thing, I like it. It says, marriage is hard and divorce is hard. Choose your hard. I forget what else it said. It was like many things like that. I said, man, that's just true. You get life, man, you think you got it by the bull. You get what you think you wanted and you don't want it anymore because it really wasn't that good to start with. If you choose wisely, it will be your greatest blessing. The blessing, obedience is the blessing. Barbara Toles taught me that 40-something years ago. Y'all love Barbara? Y'all love Barbara, huh? You're awesome, Barbara. Right? She is. So, obedience is the blessing. Disobedience is the curse. Today, y'all, we can't put it off much longer. We got to get in, man. Today, God gives you a choice between life and death and choosing His will and His path. Or guess what? You don't have to. You know what? What are you going to choose? You can't keep waiting. The Spirit of God is not always going to give you this opportunity, guys. I mean, we take it for granted. We think, well, He'll always be there. He loves me, blah, blah. I'm telling you. I'm warning you. I'm begging with you. I'm pressing the shot collar. Which path are you going to choose today? Choose you this day who you will serve. Now, choose life. Now, there's some choices that have been, anybody have, that were beyond our control. There's some things beyond our control. Anybody but me. What I did in the past, man, that's beyond my control. I can't go back there. And I have regrets because I'm not going to wallow in them. I don't believe in living in the past, man. It will arrest your forward progress. I rode motorcycles for many years. I'm going to tell you something. Doing this on a motorcycle ain't good. It will hurt you. There's choices life and our parents made for us. The choice of race, the choice of gender, male or female, the choice of where you were born. They're beyond our control, and it's beyond my control. But I want to tell you, the problems we have in life don't stem primarily from the choices life and our parents made for me. I chose not to let that bother me. The problems don't stem from the fact that you're a man or you're a woman, or that you're black or you're white, or you're short or you're tall, or you're beautiful or you're ugly. When it comes right down to it, that stuff don't matter. It's going to be who you choose to serve. What do you choose? What do you choose? I do not live in the past of how I was raised. I was raised ignorant. I was probably a racist and didn't even know it because that's just the way things were. I was raised a lot of things, man. But guess what? I come out of Egypt. Tell them, Shaw. We come out of Egypt to Ocala. Some people use these type things as a scapegoat when they make their choices. And all they really want to do is they have what they want, and they're going to choose the wrong way, and it leads to, that's all that's down there, y'all. You may not see it yet. It may be all constructive to start with, but I want to tell you, it leads to destruction. People blame their misfortunes in life on their parents and on God, Why did God let me do? Uh-oh, I know you're planning your escape. When somebody comes to me and I hear them start complaining about their wives or complaining about their husbands, they're just planning their escape. When they come to me and start telling me, about things about the church, or you hear people at the church, they're just planning their escape. I tell people, look, can you just leave because you want to leave? Why do you got to leave and make me a bad person? Or make the family here a bad person, or somebody didn't look at you right one day, or we're not friendly here. I know that's bogus, and that's a good word I'm going to use this morning. Because of their place of birth, or the circumstances, or their race, or their nationality. I had this friend, he was a young black guy. And he responded to this question. They said, you do not have a rich background that accounts for your success, do you? And this kid, man, he said, it is not what you have in your pocket that matters, sir. It's what you have in your head. I'm like, yeah, baby. It's not what you got in your pocket, bro. It's what you got in your head and in your heart. This dude is saying that what accounts for his success is not choices beyond his control, but his success is based on the ones within his control. Power. It's the power of choice that's in our control, within your control, my control, that's more important than the one that's beyond our control. Failure or success in life is dictated by the power of choice within my control and not the one beyond my control. I can't control the one beyond my control, but why don't I just start trying to control the ones that are in my control? Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, man. It's powerful. So the source of problems we may have, it lies principally in the choices we make ourselves or we fail to make. You make the ones or you fail to make. And what is of greater importance is how we choose, when we choose, and what we choose. How we choose, when we choose, and what we choose. Let me tell you why I say this. Because some people chose too late. The Spirit of God will always, the Bible says that the Spirit of God will be taken away. And guess what? You won't even desire God anymore. And yes, because maybe you Googled it or something. Can I say something about AI? AI is not the inspired Word of God. Y'all hear me? Let me tell you what AI is. It's something that'll look at you and tell you stuff that you want to hear. And they got a lot of information on there, but just because AI say it, but the only reason he don't know what I preach is because nobody told him yet. If he'll keep reading my post, though, he may get smarter. I know AI can do a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you what. He cannot save you or give you the revelation knowledge from God. Because God only don't give that to no computer. Y'all hear me? Ain't no anointed, don't mean anointed, idiot. AI. Yeah, you got no presence on it. It's just the word, the letter. You want to interrupt me again? Huh? You're making me think of funny things to say to you right now. Go for it. People wouldn't understand this, bro. People get mad at me. Okay. How we choose, when we choose, what we choose. There it is. How I choose, when I choose, and what I choose. Now, I really want to make sure that we get this morning. All right? God sets before us life and death. Life or death. Well, that's not something that's very hard for me to decide which one to choose. I'll tell you that right now. Johnny, do you want life or do you want death? I don't even have to think about it. I'll take life. But I'm going to tell you, there's some people that are so stubborn and brutish. You know what the word brutish is? It's the King James Old Testament word for stupid. They're going to choose that. Are you kidding me? That's not hard for me to decide. Okay, Johnny, you want blessing or curses? That's not a hard one for me to choose. He even gives us that little hint in case we're too brutish to figure it out for ourselves. Choose life, Johnny, that you and your children may live. My God, what I don't want to do is stand before Yahshua one day and he say, depart from me, Johnny. And then I look over and there's my children. Son-in-laws, daughters, daughter-in-law, niece, all my family, but my children, especially. We're looking over there. And I got spiritual children too that are very important. And then they look at me. I can't say no to an ice cream cone to my grandkids. Poppy, here. I can't say no to that. I'm going to choose life, even if it ain't for me. I want to choose it for y'all, my children. I want to choose it for that. So why did Yahweh give us this free choice? I think giving the people a free choice is a risky thing. Whenever he decided to give man a free choice, he knew there was a chance. Guess what? They wouldn't choose him. But I think part of the characteristic in my life, some of them actually are godlike. I don't want a robot that has no choice. And people that just do what I want them to do. I don't like that. I don't like people, kissing up to me or doing something just for me. I like people that love me and do that. But he wants people that choose of their own free will to love him and to be obedient to him and to live their life for him. That's what he wants. That's why the greatest of these is the commandments are fulfilled in loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. It's about the want to. It's about the desires, what you choose. I think choice is a great benefit, and I think it's a wonderful gift. I'll tell you what it does. It separates the crowd. It lets you see who loves you and who don't. Who the real people loves God and who don't. It's easy. They're making their choice. It shows that Yahweh was nice enough to let my destiny, he put it in my hands. Okay, Johnny? You want to get it? Let's get it, baby. Me and you. I'll bless you. I'll take care of you. I'm 69. I want to tell you what. I've never seen me forsaken or me begging for bread. God has blessed me in the midst of stuff, and I want to tell you, I could go on and on and on. Why, Johnny? Because you're a preacher? No, because I chose properly. And I continue to choose the right way. And I do it better now because he's built my character up better, and that character desires more than ever before to please him. Are y'all with me? The gift of choice, I believe, gives me power and authority. When I was a kid, I used to read the books by Kenneth Hagin years ago in the 70s, the Fort of Faith movement. I went through that, the whole movement, and anyhow, there was always, he wrote the book, and he got it from E.W. Kenyon. Hagin wrote it, and then Kenneth Copeland copied his book, and not that that matters. I'm just saying the authority of the believer. I'm going to tell you what I'm telling you right now is the true authority. The true authority of the believer is the gift of choice. It's the power over the real enemy. When I choose against the devil, which we know is the carnal mind and my flesh desires, when I choose over him, that gives me power and authority over my flesh and my temptations. Are y'all hearing me today? Over the true Satan. Johnny, you don't believe in Satan, do you? Oh, yeah, and he's way more stronger than yours because it's me and what I want to do. The power to overcome and subdue the sin nature. I choose against sin, Joey. I choose against this because the wages of sin is death, and I want life. I don't want death. You'll have death in your relationships. I'm going to tell you, you'll have an emotional death. You won't even love people no more. You won't even be around people. Like, get away from me. I don't want to be around you. You know, you'll do that to your own children. Get away from me. You do it for friends and people. Don't want to be around. And somebody says, well, that's just how I am. Thank you. That's how we all are until we make the right choice and the Spirit of God comes again. I'm telling you, don't be a foolish virgin or a foolish regular person. I like that. I like that my choice gives me the power to overcome and subdue my sin nature. I like the scriptures like this. You reap what you sow. I'm in control. If I want conch peas, I plant them. If I want rutabagas, I go ask Reggie about them. If I want tomatoes, I plant tomatoes. And it's usually used as a negative. To me, it's a positive because I feel like that also gives me the authority over what I'm going to get in my garden. I don't just guess. I make choices, and it's what's going to happen in my life, and I want to tell you, it has. I testify today to the goodness of my God, that what I'm telling you today, to God, tell the whole truth, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth. So help me, Yahweh. I want to tell you, what I'm telling you today is real. But one of the things that I want to make sure you realize today is this. Free choice gives you authority. Free choice is power, baby. But we got to remember, authority always comes with responsibility. And sometimes we don't think about that. It's so wonderful to be able to choose what I'm going to do, but there's always a consequence to every decision that I make. Good, bad, and ugly. It's easy. It's difficult because as we sow good things, it takes it a while to grow. But when you sow bad things, it takes it a while to grow too. And I'll tell you what that means. You start sinning, you choose to go down the wrong path, everything looks good to start with. You can go 2 or 3 years, 5 years, 10 years before you get to destruction city. Y'all hear me? Sometimes it takes time to really 30, 60, 100-fold to walk in the blessing and the rhythm of faith with our obedience, the path of blessing. And I found out this. I think people aren't really fond today of taking responsibilities about stuff. Hello? I said, I think people ain't real keen on wanting to take responsibility for stuff. I remember the time when being responsible was considered an honorable thing to do. But it seems like today there's a lot of people that want to avoid responsibility. But we can't do that with the things of God. Example. You work out at the gym, which I don't. Or you exercise regularly. I kind of do that. Walk regularly. Well, Lynn kicks me out of the cart and he makes me walk. Or whatever. You're going to reap the benefits of that. You're going to have a good consequence from the choices that you make to take care of your body. And this is what people say, man, I wish I had a body like that. I wish I was that strong. Well, the people who look like that and are that strong, do you know what? They didn't get it by wishing it. They didn't get it they got it by making the right choice. To get their butt out of the bed and go to the gym and do what Jonathan tells you to do. You want to lose weight? Jonathan he can help you lose weight like that. Wisdom is choosing to do now what you will be satisfied with later on. Wisdom is choosing to do right now what you're going to be happy with later on. Are y'all hearing me? Simple. When we're emotionally immature, we live by emotions. We do what feels good right now. That's the flesh, man. But then later on, we're sorry we made an emotional choice. A wise person means that you do now, even if it's hard, what you'll be satisfied and happy with later on. I don't mind choosing doing hard things for the reward. And I'd rather do that than easy things for destruction. Tithing, gathering here, forgiving, loving, all of which are choices that I promise you, you will never be sorry you made when you stand before Yahshua. And that's how I try to preach. This is what Joshua said in chapter 24. But if serving Yahweh seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourself this day whom you're going to serve, whether the God of your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the God of the Amorites in the land you are living. But as for me, we're going to serve. Amorite means prominence and high society and haughty and pride. They were living in the carnal world of success and haughtiness and pride and being high-minded, hobnobbing. I've got this and I've got that, just like all the other people do. I love that stuff. But I get what I do. I love that I can make and decide the outcome for me. All right. What time is it? All right, Joel sang too long today. I'm going to ask you a question. Are you just doing what your friends do because you'll be included in the group, or you serving Yahweh whether they want to or not? You better save your kids and yourself from what the world's doing. You listen to me. The eagle flies alone, the lion hunts alone, the man of God stands alone. Prophesied me by a man named Ralph Duncan, who became a senator in Tennessee, who preached at a message at a conference when I was a young man. He called me out from all the people. He said, hey, get him. He called me up there, and he prophesied those words to me. He said, the eagle flies alone, the lion hunts alone, the man of God stands alone. I said, what does that mean? He said, I don't know. Guess what? After 69 years, I know exactly what it means. That I would make choices and decisions in my life that would separate me from other people. The eagle flies alone, the lion hunts alone, and the man of God stands alone. And I want to tell you, I chose that path, not to bring it to pass, but to benefit from the blessing that I live in today. We have to be willing to stand alone if it means doing the right thing and making the right choice. So many people let what other people think to them and say about them, even our own minds, well, I'm not successful if I don't have that or drive that or be that or, it's something. But it's really very foolish, because when it all comes down to it, you and you alone are going to bear the consequences of that decision. Don't let any other people make your choices for you this morning. You hear me? Nobody. Mama, daddy, siblings, friends, your flesh, nobody is going to rob me of the blessing that God said I could choose to have for me. I would not be here today if I wasn't willing to stand alone. And the beautiful thing is I've never had to, because there's other people who are willing to stand alone too. And we all aren't alone because we're willing to stand alone. Standing alone doesn't mean that we can't seek advice from somebody. And maybe we need advice, so we can go a couple of people and ask them what they would do in the body. And even when you have to be very careful, then even who you get counsel from. Golf is called, to me, it's the liar's game. It'll uncover you if you are self-deceptive or not. It will reveal if you care about what God thinks less than what you think others may think, what kind of golfer you are. The term for where the ball comes to stop is a lie. Did you get a good lie? Yeah, I got a good lie. My ball stopped over there. That's a good lie. These are golf jokes. I guess y'all don't get them. A lot of guys will give you a putt. You know what they're doing? They're sowing, hoping they're going to give you one. Be quiet, Lynn. Bad counsel will okay a bad choice because misery loves company. So you really want the blessing of God off your life for a stupid golf score? I'd say you've got nowhere. And that's just an analogy for things that we do in life. What's your golf? Or look, even when you get counsel, you should remember the bottom line is the final choice is going to be yours. You're going to make it. Don't let some idiot make your choices for you. All right, I'm going to close. You have just as much responsibility to not let them control you as they have to not try to control you. I say, I'm out of your jurisdiction. You don't control me. And then they say, well, if you don't do what I want, then we're not going to be friends. They don't say that always, but they act it. Or you're going to be out of the group. Or I'm going to give you the cold shoulder. I had a group of men, well, maybe one and a couple more, who had nothing to do with me because I love Will Thompson. And I made my decision about Will Thompson. And when they said he was this, whatever they said, I said, well, tell me what it is exactly. And they wouldn't or couldn't, I say. Make choices now, this morning, that you're not going to regret later. Y'all hear me? All right, I got a lot more, but I think I'm wearing you out. I'm urging you today to be a God. Okay, I'm hungry. That's the real truth, okay? All right. I'm urging you today to start being a God pleaser and not a people pleaser. Not even your old little selfish own little world that your mom and daddy and your dysfunction, your insecurities and your deficiencies in your mind where you have to just keep, being something. Don't let that lead you astray. Don't be a man pleaser. The Apostle Paul said something powerful to me in Galatians 1:10. And I think about it often, and this is what he said. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not now be a servant of Christ. The Amplified says it this way. If I were trying to be popular with people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Thank you all. Bye. Can you pray with me this morning? Just bow your heads. I want to bring you to a place. You're in a precarious place right now.